be recording this, and you are welcome to type into the chat, and we will at the very least look at that at the end. It may not be displaying to our wonderful presenter today while we are actually presenting, but we will keep all of the Tuesday tips meetings to less than a half an hour. So we really want to just give you some targeted strategies once a week that won't take your whole day to kind of learn from. And that's the goal. So I am going to pull up the slides. And I'm just so grateful for anyone that's here in the audience, and that you would take the time to be here with us. Oh yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, I thought you were asking me who they were. So let me share the screen. So my name is McKinley Withers. I work in Jordan District, obviously, over health and wellness. And we have the lovely pleasure today of hearing from a member of our health and wellness team here in the district. Our overall objective with our team is just to provide a more focused and intentional effort towards wellness for students, educators, and families. And this weekly Tuesday Tips is a part of that effort, and you can find all of our stuff at wellness.jordandistrict.org, and you can also actually send any questions or concerns, whatever might be on your mind, maybe related to Tuesday Tips, to wellness@jordandistrict.org, and it will go to our team. And we love to hear, input from families, community members, or those of you at schools to ensure that we are meeting the needs. So today, you are all so lucky to have Annie Larson, who will be, she's put together today's presentation, and Annie has a couple of decades of experience with mental health and behavioral interventions. She's been, had a lot of important titles in a lot of different settings, but is just the kindest, most thoughtful and well-spoken person. I think she has a lot of wisdom to share about some of the basics of keeping your routines and your household in a way that will foster wellness for you and your children. So, without further ado, Larson.
Okay, thanks, McKinley. Yeah, so today, the topic that we were going to talk about is routines. So the agenda is basically just talking about why routines. Kids crave, love routine, consistency, and that's key to a happy, healthy child. And then going over a few different schedules and kind of more tangible tips as far as routines go. So I wanted to share this meme to start out with, because I think sometimes it seems daunting. The tips seem daunting. We're already all trying hard enough. So this is I just dry shampooed and Febrezed my kids on the way out the door. So no, I'm not really interested in your family's morning chore chart, Debbie. And that really spoke to me. I work on the wellness team, but I'm a mom too, and life gets crazy. And so we just want simple things that are going to be helpful. Let's see. There we go. So the first thing is why routines are important. We talk about this Maslow's hierarchy. We'll probably come back to it several times throughout our Tuesday tips over the course of this, but that we all need physical needs, and then safety, connection, and confidence are key to thriving. And if we have our needs met in those spheres, then we will thrive. Then we're going to continue to move up this hierarchy. So why routines are important to safety is that they establish expectations and they can provide predictability in our environment. There's connection provided by opportunities for special daily routines or rituals and shared norms, things that everyone in the family or the group knows that they know those things are going to happen. And then daily rituals can be, even saying goodbye to your kids in the morning, whatever that looks like. When it has a bit of a routine to it, it forms ritual and connection. And then confidence. So establishing healthy routines creates constructive habits and builds independent skills. So that's the goal, right? That we're not just teaching these things, but our kids, ourselves can take these on and engage independently. So I wanted to talk about routines acting as an anchor. So maybe you get up at 7 in the morning, you eat dinner at 6, you go to bed at 10, or whatever your routine is, but having small markers in the day where we have that routine and it's consistent grounds us and kind of gives us a touchstone throughout the day. So there was a youth I was working with last year who mentioned, I always think, no matter what's going on, I'll think of dinner time. Well, I can make it till dinner time. So dinner was something that was predictable, that he liked, and he always knew when that was going to happen. So whatever was going on, it gave him something to hold on to that made getting through whatever was difficult a little bit easier. Then we also talk about routines giving us a sense of accomplishment. So when we have routines for daily tasks, then the routine, the daily task can become more of a habit when we're doing it over and over the same each day. And when things become a habit, we aren't having to use emotional energy to think about doing it, to decide when we want to do it, if we're going to do it. It takes all of that away. So the benefit of, having the routine is not only that these tasks become less daunting, but we have something to celebrate. So it's important to, as we have these routines, that whether it's walking the dog, creating a to-do list, taking the garbage out, that we're intentionally acknowledging this, that we're intentionally saying, yeah, I did that, I accomplished that, yay me. And that creates, we'll talk about another Tuesday tip, but even behavior momentum, where when we're proud of doing something, when we feel good about doing something, that energy continues throughout our day. Sorry, not working. There we go. Okay. So basically how to with routines is it's like learning any other skill. So we're going to explain the routine, what's expected, what is it going to look like, and then we need to be modeling it. So if we're teaching our kids a routine, then we need to show them how to do it. We need to practice. Well, the next one is practicing it with them. So all of this stuff happens before we're engaging in the routine, before we're expected to be successful at it. So we explain it, we show them how to do it, we're going to practice the routine. And if we're doing this for ourselves, then we practice the routine. We're practicing the routine beforehand so we can work out the kinks, so we don't practice the routine first thing in the morning when it's a routine. Like if it's a morning routine, then we don't need the stress of the morning and how much time it's going to take to get in the way. We want to practice when conditions are optimal and we can just see how it goes. Then once we've done that, we can implement the routine and revisit it as needed if adjustments need to be made. But it's important also to give the routine, give it a couple of weeks, give it a little while to see, does this work? Because like any new skill, it takes time to get good at it. It doesn't go off smoothly and feel like, oh, mornings are easier now because we've implemented this routine. It's going to take a couple weeks before we can start to kind of reap the rewards of it. So small efforts though, I think that's the biggest point of this presentation, is that small efforts equal significant rewards. So you don't have to plan your day from morning till night, but little tweaks do help, and they do help with our emotional wellness. So a career coach and writer, Marty Nemko, points out another soothing effect of routines. A routine is something you can do well. Modern life is increasingly defined by unpredictability and can be anxiety provoking, and routines provide an anchor of predictability. So kind of like we talked about before, having these markers during your day does create predictability. So no matter what else happens, we kind of know those things, and they're good for grounding us. But also, when we have routines that we've practiced over time, we know we can do those things well. So that increases confidence, and our sense of being capable, that, I know I can do this well. I know I can get up in the mornings and get out the door without a hitch. And anytime we can have something in our life that we know we can do, that's just increasing self-confidence. So I wanted to talk about some of the small things. So what we're asking of you isn't, anything big, but it's maybe Sunday nights, choosing outfits for the week, packing a work bag or lunch bag the night before, and then, or creating a few small routines. So morning routine, or after school tasks. And the more we practice these, and then for kids, we talk about them being able to do skills. We want them to be independent and confident to do these things on their own. So when we have just a small routine, like getting up, getting dressed, brushing teeth, combing my hair, putting on my shoes, and we do this over and over, kids they're more independent. They can do it. It helps kind of get rid of some of those power struggles that might come when you have to ask them to put the shoes on 7 times. Now it's just part of the routine. So we don't have to have a power struggle over that. We don't even have to attend to it because it's now part of the routine. And another health and wellness member mentioned this, and I think it's just great. She said, we as adults love having to-do lists. We love checking things off and feeling accomplished by that. So sometimes for our kids as well, if they have a little routine and they can check off things as they go, they get to experience that great feeling too. They're no different than we are. So we did want to talk about, one type of schedule, just the what's next schedule, which is a visual schedule that creates a flow for the day. And so it creates a sense of structure, it decreases anxiety because we know what to expect during the day. So what a what's next schedule is basically taking the tasks for the day and organizing them together. So the parent and child, and giving the child choice in, hey, I want to do math in the morning, then I want to do this. That sense of control takes down anxiety. We all know when we know what to expect, we're less anxious. It also helps with transitions where power struggles are often big and anxiety goes up when we know what's next. So hence the what's next schedule, that you can look and see what's coming and when it's coming. And so again, transitions, power struggles, and anxiety are all handled with those. And then just the visual, for a lot of kids, visual things are very important. In fact, kids sometimes will think it's fun if you, instead of having the words up there, like math, having a picture, letting your kids model. And so they get to take a picture of themselves brushing their teeth or doing their math. And then those are what you make the schedule with. So they see themselves doing it, which again is modeling. They're modeling for themselves. So the whole goal is more independence and more success. Let's see. Oh, and so I guess I went pretty quick. Sorry. But I appreciate you guys doing this with me. So a few last tips were, there was something I forgot on that last slide, was also on that schedule, the what's next schedule. You can put less desirable tasks at the beginning of the day. I mean, probably some of you have heard the expression eat the frog, which is there's something that's undesirable, just do it. Get it done and get it out of the way. So when we're making these schedules with kids, if we're doing a what's next schedule, or if we're doing it for ourselves and we know what we have to do during the day, putting the stuff that's tough at the beginning of the day eliminates us having to think about it all day and use our emotional energy to decide to engage in that task. And so, and throughout the day, our brain gets tired. It gets tired of making choices, so choices get more difficult to make. So we can put the hard stuff at the beginning. Not only are we successful at getting it done, but we don't maybe kind of hurt ourselves by leaving it there. Because typically one of two things is going to happen if, as the day goes on and we make choice after choice after choice, our brain gets tired of making choices, we're emotionally tired of making choices, and so we'll take shortcuts, which is either act impulsively. So, you know, for a kid, maybe, yeah, send that text, why does it matter? Without thinking about it, because we're tired of making choices. So we don't maybe make the best choices, or we just avoid it altogether. We decide, I don't want to make any more choices. Unfortunately, choosing not to make the choice or choosing not to engage doesn't make the task go away. Mm-hmm. So it ends up building on us. And now it's harder to even do it the next day. So that hence putting the difficult stuff up front is your best bet. And then allowing for an oops. And being able to talk about this, being able to say, you know, and when we're planning a routine and when we're practicing it, practice oops. Say, you know, well, something came up, we, you know, so-and-so dropped by the house, we couldn't do story time right then. That's what the oops is for. How do we fix that? Where are we going to put that on the schedule? And so when we practice these things ahead of time, then when an oops does happen, it's not the end of the world. We can use our, you know, the front part of our brain, problem solve, stay calm, because we kind of knew to expect that this could happen. So those are the kind of two last tips. And that's really all I have on routines. But yeah, so we just wanted to give you guys a few tips on trying to implement routines in small ways as a means of increasing wellness and decreasing stress. And next week, we're going to talk about addressing physical needs associated with well-being, and you will get to hear from Rachel. So again, if you have questions or comments or ideas for us, then the website wellness.jordandistrict.org, and you can email us at the same address. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think I took like 13 seconds. Oh.